Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde here of Prep Baseball Report. Latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs is from ABCA in Nashville. I've got Fitt and Kendall Rogers with me of D1Baseball.com, and today we're going to talk a little college preseason stuff. So guys, really appreciate y'all joining us. I'm sure you guys are ready for the season to get going.
Yeah, it's go time, Rohde. You know how it is. It's the unofficial kickoff of college baseball season. You go New Year's Day, and then the next day, boom, let's go.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Seeing a lot of coaches. Can't wait for the start of the season.
Excellent. Well, let's get into a little talk about the season coming up. 2020 is on us. You guys have the preseason top 25 coming out in a couple of weeks. Who is in the mix for number one for you?
I think there's, for me, three teams that are strongly in the discussion at the top of my board. Kendall and I haven't actually even had this conversation yet, so I'm going to drop this on you, Kendall. I like Louisville a lot, I like Miami a lot, and I like Florida. Those, to me, are teams that have a lot of arms. Miami is very experienced, and particularly their position player group is older, which I always like. I think Louisville has maybe the best rotation in the country, with Reed Detmers, and of course you got Luke Smith, who was so good in Omaha last year, and Bobby Miller, the big right-hander, who if he figures it out, that could be a first, top half of the first round pick. So I think pitching really stands out for Louisville and Florida as well. The depth of that pitching staff.
Right.
Some younger pieces sprinkled into that lineup, I think, will give them a nice boost. And again, you've got some nice older guys too. I think Judd Fabian is a real breakout candidate for the Gators.
Sure, no doubt.
Yeah, I think, you look at those teams. I think Louisville, for me, you look at the way Luke Smith pitched in Omaha last year. That was a big development for them. They have a kind of a three-headed monster there in the rotation. I'd keep an eye on Florida. I think Tommy Mates, Jack Leftwich, Fitt's report on Jack Leftwich in the fall was outstanding. I think Florida's really going to pitch. I think getting guys like Langworthy back is pretty important just from a leadership standpoint. I think Florida will be more offensive, and I think some of the growing pains those young guys had last year will help them this year. So I don't expect Kevin O'Sullivan's team to be, I wouldn't say they were down last year.
They were down.
They're going to be back this year. And I think when you look around the country too, I think Texas Tech is a team for me that I think even without some key guys will be a really good. Micah Dallas, I think, is going to lead that pitching staff and do a really nice job. They're going to be offensive as usual. But then you look at a team like Arkansas with Casey Martin, Heston Kierstad, and guys like that. Casey Opitz, we were just talking to Dave Van Horn about how great he's been. I think Arkansas is going to be really good too, despite some question marks in the mound.
Sure. And obviously you got Robert Moore joining Arkansas early too. Is going to be really good for that lineup. And who would have thought Florida's going to pitch? I mean, what else is new?
Broken record.
Exactly. So you guys, after Omaha last year, always do your 8 for Omaha. Aaron, you had Arizona State, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Louisville, Miami, Texas Tech, and Vanderbilt. You went around all fall. You looked at these teams. You see how these freshman classes, the JUCO transfers, the grad transfers come in. Any changes in your 8 for Omaha, you think, or who could sneak in there?
I still like all those teams,
Sure.
Nathan, and I think they're all probably top 10 teams, but there's two teams that I would stick into that kind of top 10 mix, maybe supplant one of those teams. One of them would be Mississippi State.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know how neither of us had Mississippi State in our list last year because they lost some key guys, obviously, and Mangum and, McNamee and all those guys that were kind of the heart and soul of the lineup, but boy, I like their talent, and I think the top 4 guys in that lineup, with Foscue and Allen and Rowdy Jordan, and I mean it's really strong core of the lineup.
Sure.
And then I think on the mound with JT Ginn and Christian McLeod, and again you've got depth. I think you got like Eric Sarantola could be a breakout guy, certainly as a sophomore, big power arm. I love the recruiting class, some of those freshmen, Casey Hunt, Landon Sims,
Sure.
some of those guys they brought in. So I like their team a lot in the fall. And Florida State is a team that I think it's going to be really good again in the first year of the Mike Martin Jr. era. Pitching for those guys. I mean, C.J. Van Eyck in particular, it was lights out in the fall. I didn't even see him, but the reports were glowing. But I think they've got a lot of really big arms. I think Junior said it's maybe the best, deepest pitching staff he's had there. So keep an eye on the Seminoles.
Sure. And Kendall, you had Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisville, Miami, Michigan, Texas Tech, Vanderbilt. Anybody that you see kind of pushing into that conversation?
I still like Michigan a lot, but I'm starting to come around a little bit. Fitz tried to convince me in the past, but I'm starting to come around a little bit on Arizona State. I think when you look at the addition of Jason Kelly, R.J. Dabovich had a great summer. Justin Fall, a JUCO transfer, a lefty who's up to 96, 97 on the fall. He's going to add a nice element to their pitching staff. Ward Vanderkoy is back. They look much better on the mound. Obviously, they're going to hit. with the return of Gage Workman, Spencer Torkelson, Trevor Halver, guys that a lot of people don't really talk about. He's a really nice piece of that offense. I think Arizona State has a chance to do some pretty special things this season.
Excellent. Well, we'll see how it all pans out. 2017 was the last time we saw a mid-major make it to Omaha. We got 2018, 2019 was all Power 5. Maybe not necessarily who's going to make it to Omaha, this year, but who are some mid-major programs that we need to keep an eye on, for the next couple of years, for whatever reason?
Well, I'm not going to steal your thunder because we both have one program to watch. The Cajuns, I think, under Matt Deggs. That's an obvious team to watch. But
sure.
Kendall will talk more about that. But I'm going to say first of all, Coastal Carolina. They're not going anywhere.
Not to. They're a power major, as Shooter Hunt likes to call them.
If the pitching comes together for them, there's a chance. There's a couple of really good arms that they need to take steps forward, but the potential is that Garrett McDaniels, in particular, the lefty. Scott Kobos is still there, so they're going to be athletic. They lost some pieces of the lineup, but they can be dangerous this year. And I'll give you a team. It's not a mid-major. It is technically Power 5, but you don't see a lot of Big Ten teams in Omaha. So for me, keep an eye on Minnesota, Nathan, with Max Meyer and Patrick Fredrickson. You can ride those two arms a long way, and those guys do such a great job. John Anderson and his staff, they're so consistent. Their teams always get better, it seems like, over the course of the season. Keep an eye on the Gophers.
Okay, they had a good football season for the Gophers, so maybe they can translate that to the spring as well.
But you mentioned Minnesota. Ohio State's another team that got in the postseason last year by winning the Big Ten tournament. They get a lot of guys back, Dylan Dingler and others. They're going to have a really solid team, too. But for me, if you look at Louisiana with Matt Deggs, you look at the facilities they've got, you look at the fans' support they've got, I thought it was the perfect hire to bring him in, a guy that, he admits that Tony Robichaux kind of saved his life a little bit with some things he was going through in the past. And, you look at what Deggs did there as an offensive coach. Their offense, once he left, kind of steadily declined. I think getting him back to kind of bring back that Matt Deggs style, I think is going to get things shored up on the pitching side of things. So Louisiana is a team for me that, is a power major in my eyes. And I would not be shocked to see them kind of become what I would call the Fullerton of the Southwest a little bit. They have the facilities, the money, the fans to be a big-time program, and I think Matt will get them there.
And I absolutely agree with that. I do think they're a year away from being that kind of a factor this year. They're not going to be an Omaha team this year. They're interesting. I saw them, but they have a great shortstop, though. Boy, oh boy. Hayden Cantrell can really play.
Yeah, he's a good player. So let's talk about some players. Last year we saw Kumar Rocker take the college baseball scene by storm. No-hitter in the postseason. Obviously was a mega dude in high school, that got to campus. We see guys like Jake Mangum, who obviously, don't let me get me wrong, is a great player, but doesn't have that same prospect status as a Kumar Rocker. Who for you is going to be like that next household name for college baseball when guys are tuning into the conference tournaments, the regionals, on TV? Who is going to be that new college baseball celebrity?
This is the year Arizona State returns to prominence in a big way on a national level. And the face of that team and the face of college baseball this year, in addition to Rocker, is going to be Spencer Torkelson. And, he's already a dude. He's hit 25 home runs as a freshman, 23 as a sophomore. He's a rock star. But that's the guy that ESPN's going to be doing all the stuff on. That's the guy that's going to be the face.
They haven't been to Omaha to kind of put him on the national stage. To the casual baseball fan.
Right.
I think the other guy for me is Heston Kjerstad. We've talked so much in the past about how deep and how balanced Arkansas's offensive lineup is. So you haven't really been able to really kind of pinpoint one guy. I think when you look at Heston and the jump he took in the fall, I think he's going to have a big-time year. And I'm going to also talk about Jesse Franklin in Michigan. Fitt and I both loved him in Omaha last year. If Michigan can emulate last year's success, he's a guy that just plays with a lot of energy. And if he has a big year, he could kind of be that face in the North especially.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate the insight as always, guys. Looking forward to following college baseball season. Again, it's Kendall Rogers and Aaron Fitt with D1Baseball.com. Be sure to check out their content online and follow them all throughout the season. But as always, with Coffee and Curveballs, I'm Nathan Rohde. Next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.